behalf of PJ Lukac. We were just talking during the commercial break. It's been 9 months since PJ was diagnosed with a glioblastoma, the same type of brain tumor that Senator Ted Kennedy had. And joining us is Dr. Jeffrey Raizer, the Director of Medical Neuro-Oncology at the Robert H. Lurie Comprehensive Cancer Center at Northwestern University. Please welcome Dr. Raizer. This way. Oh, good. Well, of course, for me personally, and I know for PJ, it's an honor that you came all the way out from Chicago to be with us today, because you've meant a lot to my family and been on quite a journey with us. Can you explain a little bit to the audience about your connection with PJ?
So PJ and I met
the day of my diagnosis.
Yeah, about 9 months ago or so. I got called to see him, and it's always a disheartening event, because I like to think that people in the medical profession are spared from some of these things sometimes, but it's just a calling that none of us are spared of anything. And so I met PJ. Certainly his age is often harder to deal with in this patient population, and I could say since I've had kids, I can only imagine what his parents were going through at that point in time. We've met. We've since, I kind of think, solidified a stronger bond over the months, and it's been very rewarding. And you know, I've learned a lot from PJ as I do with other patients. And he's got a spirit of saying, "I have this diagnosis. I know what the odds are. I don't care. I'm going to continue with my life, and I'm going to go do research and try to find a cure that's going to better myself and better others." And so that's a very altruistic kind of behavior, I think.
Yeah, it really is. But I think it takes one to know one, Dr. Raizer, having spent time with you and been by your side in working conditions where we're trying to raise funds and fund the research that PJ himself is working on, and you are too. PJ said something to me during the commercial break. He said, when I look back at this time, if I'm here 10 years from now.
If I could look back 10 years from now and I'm healthy as a horse, and if I looked back at these past 9 months, I would say they've been the best 9 months of my life. I'm not kidding you. It's really like I started with such a negative. There was really nowhere to go except up. And so I just kind of like started with one positive and just built on that. And, you know, like my mom says, if you didn't laugh, you'd cry, so.
Yeah, your parents are amazing. I know your sister Beth is here today. I just want to point her out in the audience because she's here supporting you, looking gorgeous and proud of her brother. Yeah. And of course, this is so Chicago of us, isn't it? She's sitting next to Dr. Raizer's mom, who's with us too, which is fantastic. I love the whole journey that in life we get so struck with emotion that we feel like we can't even take a deep breath. And in that moment, I can say, and I know that you can talk about this too, PJ, is that Dr. Raizer, when people ask you about statistics and about, you know, how long do I have, can you share with the audience your perspective on that medically and how you answer somebody? And I know you answered PJ the same way as you did my family.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the internet is out there. It gives everybody more information than I think most people would even care to know about. And as I always tell patients, unless I'm pushed into wanting to know numbers, I think statistics are very irrelevant. They don't tell me how any one individual is going to do over the course of time. And so even though under a microscope, a glioblastoma that PJ might have versus a glioblastoma one of my other patients might have look the same, they don't all behave the same. And I think that's where the science is really helping us understand these differences now, because they look the same to the pathologist, but the biology is very different. And so I can't tell how any one individual is going to do. And so I don't bother so much with statistics. I'm only concerned about the individual patient. And so it's almost like it's a case-by-case analysis of each patient and what the best approach is for that patient.
And they do talk about personalized medicine. Can you touch on that at all?
So I think there's a big thrust, particularly in oncology, as we learn more the biology of tumors. And so a couple of concrete examples are Herceptin, and you were talking about Lynch stage, is we learned that something called HER2 is overexpressed in breast cancer cells. And so women who have HER2 positive breast cancer do significantly better getting Herceptin as part of their treatment. We've learned of some subtle things within glioblastoma, something called MGMT is the most widespread, and we know that if you have this gene turned off, you do better responding to a drug called Temodar and probably some other drugs called alkylator agents. So some of what they're doing in the lab of Dr. Pradel that PJ's working on is we're trying to do this molecular profiling. And if you start doing it on a large scale, you then understand that people that have this sort of molecular makeup, you know, if they have a green, a blue, and a red, they might respond better to this treatment than if somebody has a yellow, blue, and a purple.
Right.
And as you start learning that, you start sort of diffusing your populations. And so historically it was like, let's give everybody this drug, and we see what happens, and a lot of the drugs don't work. But now if we start saying, well, you have this genetic makeup, we need to give you this set of drugs that will work better for you.
I know, and it's just so exciting to actually be in the lab with you guys, see what you're doing, see the difference that you're making. We can say to a patient when they hear those words, you have cancer, the next sentence has to be, there's something we can do about it, it'll be okay. And you and PJ are spearheading along with all the incredible people that you're working with at Northwestern. I do want to tell you, PJ, we know that you relax sometimes. I know Dr. Raizer relaxes by making people laugh.
Yeah.
Because he often has, my family for sure.
I don't know. I don't think his jokes are very funny.
Wait till he gets my next bill.
But we do have a gift, because I know that you love to play music, PJ, in your spare time. And our friends at, well, the fabulous Fender, yes, a Fender guitar, heard that you started playing guitar, so they sent over the Squire Telecaster electric guitar for you. You don't have to. Of course, this is the same guitar Bruce Springsteen plays, and they, Fender wanted you to have that. So
this is beautiful.
Yeah, well, you make beautiful music no matter what you're doing, my friend. To find out how you can donate to support the work that PJ and Dr. Raizer are doing for brain cancer research, please go to bonniehunt.com. Thank you all for listening.
Next, Kristen Cavallari has a change of heart.
Are you like me when you see somebody like PJ? You see a guy your age.
Like, that's the kind of guy that us girls should be with, you know? A sweet guy like that. Everything that Justin Bobby's not.